When you think about Donald Trump's deep, corrupt connection with Russia, pick one thing that you wish more people knew about that history?
I don't know if I could isolate it to one thing, but what bothers me about it is the sort of refusal for people to take it seriously, despite literally decades of evidence pointing towards it, including recent evidence, including first-person evidence of former KGB operatives who claim it. I know someone in one of my own rare sources, a businessman who went to London in the early 90s, late 80s, and the guys that were doing security, because he was working for a company that had an office in Moscow, were these kind of like off-duty KGB dudes. And they were joking about it then in London at the time that Trump was one of their guys. This wasn't prompted by anything. They just thought it was funny. So there's all of this evidence to support it. We know about the evidence. Craig Unger has written about it. My friend Stephanie Koff has talked about it a lot, about the confidential informant stuff and his connections to the mafia and all that stuff. And it would be one thing if he was acting in a way that didn't benefit Putin all the freaking time, but he's acting in a way that benefits Putin all the time. One of the first things that he did, again, we lose this in the morass of crap that he's done since he's taken over. He had the CIA email, like on like Gmail or whatever, the list and the roster of all the new CIA recruits for the last 2 years and send it wherever. Why would he order that done? Who does that help? There's no reason to order that done unless he wants the foreign governments and the hostile foreign intelligence services to find out who our CIA operatives are. Why would you? There's no justification for that.
Let me just weigh in quickly because we're getting a couple of comments and questions in here asking for our view. Is crypto a scam or is it a thing? Is it real? I brought one of the former executives, one of the top executives under Bezos at Amazon, when they were doing their first review of crypto. And basically what he revealed was they had done an internal review of all the use cases of crypto, and they could not come up with one that wasn't essentially a scam. That wasn't essentially a Ponzi scheme.
I want to show you something before it floats out of my brain. Let me see if this works. I don't know if you can see this. It's probably not going to pull it back.
Is it a button? What is that?
No, it's a coin. It's a silver coin with a cross on it. What this is, Matt, this is a Dogecoin. This is actually a Dogecoin. It is a coin issued in Venice in the 16th century.
Like a real Dogecoin.
Yeah, 15th, whatever. So it's a real Dogecoin as opposed to the one that isn't made of silver, isn't struck, and is complete garbage. To get to the point, the problem, I think, is there's just so much, like, when some other person has had a problem with a scandal, say, with Clinton, obviously the Lewinsky thing. Before that, it was the Whitewater Hillary thing that you alluded to, but it's always one thing. It's the monkey business boat thing or whatever. It's one thing, and the media can just keep talking about it over and over about this one thing. What's the one thing with Trump? He fucking took classified documents home with him and left them in the least safe place in the entire country, which is the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. People are like, oh yeah, whatever. Even as bad as J6 was, it's difficult to, in a court of law, to prosecute him for something he didn't physically do. You have to do the conspiracy. You have to do the Charles Manson style thing. But I asked a friend of mine who's a lawyer after the documents thing happened. He was like, "This is open and shut. This is one guy at the FBI agent who found this stuff on the stand at the trial. Did you find the stolen goods? Yes, we did. Okay, that's it. We're done. He did it. He's not allowed to take the thing, and he took the thing, and we found the thing he wasn't allowed to take in his house."
All right, let me throw one at you because we've got a comment here saying the CFPB was invented precisely for crap like crypto. Agreed. And by the way, I'm thrilled to run a comment in consecutive weeks from "You Don't Like My Music," which I completely affirmed is probably true last week because I don't like anyone's music. As you could tell from that clip, I'm not a music guy. I do my best, but I'm hard of music. Okay. But this is something that I wrote on Worth Knowing a couple of weeks ago because, yes, agreed, CFPB was invented precisely for crap like this. But the other piece of the crypto Trump corruption nexus is the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. It is the arm of the Justice Department that is literally responsible for taking down transnational crime, taking down drug and human trafficking networks. Now, what do transnational drug and human trafficking networks rely on? Crypto. So, my whole point here was at the exact same moment, there were two stories that ran on the same day. One was the Justice Department doing away with the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, which was, by the way, a Reagan era unit. This is a Ronald Reagan thing that they stood up. And the exact same day, the story in the New York Times was Trump's son's deals on 3 continents directly benefit the president. Yeah, no shit. And the quote there was, a contest of sorts has played out across Europe, the United States, and the Middle East in recent days as President Trump's 2 older sons have pursued a blitz of family money-making ventures, capitalizing on their father's name and power, each seemingly trying to outdo the other. It's a rush to cash that involves billions of dollars with few precedents in American history. And guess what? Guess what all of this involves? Freaking crypto. One of the companies that Don Jr. is cozying up to is a Cayman Islands-based crypto company that was fined $45 million by the SEC in 2023 and agreed to leave the U.S. marketplace for violating federal securities law. So there you go, Greg. I'm not nearly the international expert that you are on like Russian mafioso figures and their ties to the Trump organization, but it's just an awfully stunning coincidence that at the same time that the Trump boys were running around hoovering up as much crypto cash and like Russian oligarch cash as they possibly can, the same time Trump shuts down the law enforcement arm most responsible for going after it. Amazing.
It boggles the mind that this is the thing. He doesn't feel the need to hide stuff anymore. And that's the thing that I think we should be the most concerned about. Before, he was at least attempting to keep it quiet. Now it's just all out in the open. And I think the crypto is popular because it's anonymous. And you know how we have here a US dollar, which is backed by the full faith and stuff of the United States government. Crypto is
We used
basically
to have
backed
full
by the
faith in
mob.
credit. We no longer have credit so much anymore after the Moody's downgrade.
But crypto is back to, it's essentially the central bank of crypto is the mob, as I see it. And they don't care about you or me or whatever. They just care about their own stuff. So it's not really a worthwhile thing. I think the only reason it exists is as a substitute for cash to move around large piles of money anonymously, which means it's going to be used by mobsters and also spies because, hello, it's called crypto, right? It's called crypto.